I'm Lady Midnight, and I'm a singer and performing artist. I guess I draw from a lot of influences from a background in dance, from my background in photography, working within like contemporary art institutions, and even visual. You know, I used to really love like creating costumes and different sets, so I would say there's a bit of like theatrics in my work as well, at least the presentation, but I would say like mostly right now it's songwriting and music. Yeah, I've always sang. Even as a kid, my mom told me that I would sing myself to sleep as an infant, so singing is something that I've just kind of like done, like breathing. Music fits into my life because it kind of is the main focus of my life. I don't have a day job, so I do make my livelihood through music, and I'm able to do that in a lot of different ways, primarily through performing and writing music, my own music. But I also do some kind of like freelance teaching residencies at different places. I really think it's important to stay connected to community, and it's something that feeds my work, so I want to make sure that I'm always tapped in somehow. I really developed Lady Midnight, the persona of it, through my work in Van Dam, which was a past electronic project of mine. And it really felt like I was taking on the kind of spirit of a guide, or somebody who's able to translate information, but also emotions, maybe even trauma, I would say, to go as far as that, and be able to present it in a space for everybody to feel mostly safe, but also free and to let go. And I think that came out of my own need to want to release like my own things that I carry. As artists, we reflect the times, and we definitely reflect our life. So this is a way for me to be able to understand who I am, where I come from, my purpose, my voice. And I would say that Lady Midnight embodies those things within performance, yeah. The way that I describe Lady Midnight is a light in the darkness. So like imagine the darkest room and corner, and there being kind of like a flicker or a spark. I want to be able to sit in uncomfortable places that are difficult, and to offer some type of like loving hope or some type of comfort within that space. The reason that I continue to put it out in the public and to present it and package it the way that I do is because I believe that my voice is unique and that it needs to be heard. And I think that there's other people who can relate to it, who possibly don't feel seen and don't feel listened to. But it's not up to me to control how it's received. So that's where it ends, you know? Like, that's the motivation, but then I have to surrender. A lot comes from feelings of discomfort, I would say, oppression, negligence, violence, pain. You know, those are kind of some of the most greatest songs are created upon those emotions, those complex like feelings. I think that's kind of like my inspiration, probably, you know. But again, like I also make fun music, things that are a little bit more lighthearted, and I think my inspiration is really just kind of off of like, how do I want to nourish myself, and how can I share that meal with other people? I identify first as indigenous, Aztec from Mexico, and Black and Mexican. So those, and I have other identities too. Labels, well, they suck, but we use them because representation does matter. So there's that pressure as an artist that you feel like you have to speak for everybody, and that you have to represent it in some kind of like National Geographic way. And to me, that's perpetuating oppression and perpetuating these stereotypes that don't allow us to be living, breathing people and history, you know. Part of what I do is I'm bringing up topics that are uncomfortable and allowing us a space to be able to sit with them, and in a way that like kind of mesmerizes and captures you so that you have no choice but to be with this. And it's not so bad. At the end of it, we still survive. And a lot of times people feel lighter, they feel better. You know, they've been able to untangle things that they haven't been able to name. And I think too, like, because I identify as being multicultural, I do feel like I'm able to represent my own story, which resembles a lot of other people in this country too. So I can bring in just different things that are affecting the population that I identify with, you know, and be able to use that platform to create awareness and hopefully some change in action. So it's a very exciting time for me right now. I feel like for some years I've been in different groups and different bands, and this is really the first time that I am releasing work as Lady Midnight, as a solo artist. So I just released a single. It's called Power. It's about the endless and necessary work of women. And that is the first single off of my full-length album, which is going to be out very soon, titled Death Before Mourning. And that project really deals with a time in my life where I was grieving and going through a lot of loss. So that was just one of the ways that I was able to survive, is to create music about it, to be able to understand. And I think not only just personally losing people in my life, but also just kind of the loss of different ideals, looking at what's happening more politically and even environmentally within our world right now. So how can I make sense of it, and what is the cycle within that? And I'm not necessarily sure that I came up with answers, but I definitely formulated some more questions. Those can be really helpful too. Trust in the way that you work, and don't be afraid to take risks and try new things and to continue to develop, because you know, you're only as old as your ability to take in new information. So as an artist, you want to continue to grow and just continue to push those boundaries, so that first and foremost you stay engaged with your work. Because if you don't believe in it and you're not engaged with it, then it doesn't matter, it's already dead. So keep it alive.